Yes, we are live. Welcome back, my dear friends. This is episode number 74 of Zero Point Healing Show. And with me today, I have an amazing PYSCH-K facilitator. And today we are going to discuss about how to transform doubt and stress using PYSCH-K. And for me, PYSCH-K had been one of those amazing discoveries that I've done in my life, which has helped me a lot. And personally, I have, so just to tell a little bit about myself first, I'm Vishnupriya and I'm certified in multiple different holistic healing modalities, but not PYSCH-K yet. So PYSCH-K is in my to-do list as soon as I get the surroundings, the restrictions removed in my location. But anyways, through my journey, I have kind of discovered different healing modalities, and different healing modalities transformed my life as I moved through the journey of my life. So I think it's through these discoveries of different healing modalities that I got inspired to create this platform, which I call the zeropointhealing.com. It is a web directory that I have launched for all different healing modalities, holistic healers, and it consists of so many different practitioners and facilitators and healers who work in this holistic healing world. And personally, I am a holistic healer myself. As I said, I'm certified in multiple different modalities. And now my focus is on helping. So I'm an intuitive business coach for spiritual entrepreneurs, for holistic healers. So I personally help them build their businesses, set up and show them to the world. So my Zero Point Healing Show as well is a part of that. I help these beautiful angels on earth who are transforming people's life to show themselves to the world. That's it about me. Now I'm quickly moving on to my guest for today. Welcome, Judy. Thank you so much for coming to my show today. So tell us a little bit about you and your journey into PYSCH-K, into this beautiful world of holistic healing.
All right, well, it's got a kind of funny beginning. I started out, most of my life, I was in computers. I was in IT management, and I didn't know much about anything, alternative. I didn't disbelieve it, just hadn't been exposed to much. But along the way, I saw that several healing modalities actually had a very quick and measurable difference on people. But I thought that was just for special people with special gifts, right? They had to hear things or feel things or do something special. And then I saw somebody using PYSCH-K, and it was a process, and it was an effective change that I saw, and it was something I could see I could do myself. And so I was hooked, because the opportunities for what you can change if you can get to the subconscious beliefs are limitless, basically. And so pretty soon after that, I signed up for my first workshop. That was in early 2011. And I've taken all the possible workshops, some of them more than once. And I've hosted quite a few. So I've gotten to hear it over and over again, even when I haven't retaken a workshop. And it's a very powerful modality. And it can just make such a difference in everybody's life.
That's a beautiful background to come through. And yes, PYSCH-K is like, to become a PYSCH-K facilitator, you don't really need any special gifts or special, power. Anybody can do that. And I think that's one of the major benefits of PYSCH-K. And very similarly, when we think about clients as well, they don't have to be specially gifted or something to kind of feel it. It's like it just happens so quick, and transformation is like you just have to see the changes to kind of believe that, wow, this can happen, right?
That's
so
right. Yeah.
Now let's go back into the title that we have for today, which is how to transform doubt and stress using PYSCH-K. So tell us a little bit how these doubts and stresses can actually transform with PYSCH-K, as well as tell us what PYSCH-K really is. We are saying PYSCH-K, and people might not understand what that word is. So tell us a little bit about the whole modality as well.
Sure. Well, it's a series of processes that one uses, and you use muscle testing to communicate with the subconscious. And what happens is you get subconscious beliefs, most of them between the time when you're born and when you're 7. You can get some from, that are pre-birth, and you can certainly get some later. But when you come in, you're a little sponge, just learning the rules of engagement for wherever you landed in the world. And some of those beliefs don't help you. They can cause a lot of stress and anxiety. If you think money's the root of all evil, then your subconscious is going to be protecting you from that evil. It's going to be really hard to make or keep money. So when people feel like they're working really hard and they know what they're supposed to be doing, and things, there's self-sabotage or there's just huge anxiety about something, there's probably a subconscious belief in there that's working against them, maybe more than one. So PYSCH-K is designed to help change those beliefs so that they're supporting your conscious goals. And it's a collaborative process where the person who wants the change decides what the change is. And the facilitator just facilitates the process, basically. And it's a matter of getting into a whole brain posture where it's easier to change beliefs. And it's a very fast process. Usually any one belief can be changed in less than 5 minutes.
Yes, and again, it's so quick, which is also the benefit of it. So tell us what happens in this 5 minutes. So let's say a client has this belief, which is, money is the root of all evil. And the first is the client themselves might not really recognize that belief is the one that's kind of blocking them from allowing money to come into their lives, which is then when there is the financial stress going in their lives, which is creating so much stress in their lives. So tell us how you kind of get into determining which is that belief that's blocking them, and then tell us how PYSCH-K helps us transform that belief in just the 5 minutes that we are talking about.
Sure. Well, usually when people come in, they've got a situation that's they'd like to be different. And frequently they have an emotion about that situation. And if they can bring up that emotion, then we start with that and transform that emotion to one of peaceful non-attachment, basically, instead of the anxiety, the stress, the fear, whatever the emotion is that they're feeling. And that covers a lot of territory. But then we go and we double check with statements. And so I ask them, what would you rather be experiencing? And we get to statements that are affirmation style statements, first person, present tense, the thing they do want, not what they want to get rid of. And then we'll muscle test that. And if it's a weak response, then we will do the process to rewrite the belief that they have in their subconscious so that this is what their subconscious believes now. So, it could be something as safe as it's okay for me to have money, or it's okay for me to have more money than I need, or, whatever it is that the person comes up with, we want their words, and they get to choose what they want to believe. So, and so we just go through and we just keep talking about it, figure out all their other statements, and we muscle test, and anything that's that tests weak to the statements, then that's an opportunity to rewrite that one.
Yes, and tell us about this rewriting process. It sounds like as if we are writing it on a paper, but literally we are writing it on our subconscious mind. So tell us how that magic happens in the session.
Well, we muscle test to figure out the best way to change belief in somebody's subconscious. And then we do that. And there are a variety of ways in PYSCH-K that can be the most effective way to change that belief for that person at that time. But most of them involve just getting in a position, a posture. It could be as simple as what's called a whole brain posture. Brain Gym uses that. It's something you could Google, which lets you be in a whole brain state, which is an easier way to rewrite that belief. I think of it like a computer basically, but I came from IT. And you're just, changing a line of code basically.
Exactly. And I come from the hypnotherapy background where I had been hypnotherapist, and we have literally using hypnotherapy. It is usually like 21-day process or a 30-day process to kind of change these beliefs. And since I had that background, when I looked at psyche and how it worked, I was like, it's literally just 5 minutes and the rewriting process is already done. I was like, wow, this is over and beyond what from my background. It was like, wow, is that possible? Then maybe I should switch my profession. But anyways, that's so nice that you can easily, and I think one of those major benefits as well is you are surrogating for your clients, surrogating for their subconscious mind, and then testing what it is that their subconscious mind, which process is it that their subconscious mind needs to get into that whole brain state. So tell us about all of these different, maybe 10 different methods or whatever number it is, maybe just a general overview about how that process of surrogation happens, if possible.
You mean the different types? They call it a balance when you rewrite a belief. Is that what you? There's like it would be really difficult to describe it in 5 minutes. It takes 4 days to teach it to people, so it would be hard to do that. But I do want to go back and talk a little bit about the 5 minutes. That's, just to be clear, that's for one balance. Generally speaking, when people come in with a situation, there are multiple beliefs contributing to the situation. So it doesn't mean that somebody who comes in trying to recover from trauma is going to need 5 minutes and everything's going to be fine. I will say that I've never had a client take a full session for a phobia, but other things can be more complex. So I don't want people to misunderstand and think all they need is 5 minutes and life is perfect, because life is a little bit more complicated than that. I like to compare it to an artichoke, where it's not even an onion where the rings are kind of consistent. It's like you pull a leaf off here and you pull a leaf off here, and eventually you get to the heart of it. But it's not a long relationship I have with clients that are working on the same topic. It might be 1, 2, 3 sessions, but it's not months. Yeah.
Sure. Yes. And good that you made that clarification. And of course, what we meant was each belief can be changed using a balance, as she said, in 5 to 10 minutes. That's what happens. But can you tell us now about how long usually the sessions are, and what kind of problems can client come to you for? So tell us, maybe give us some example about, okay, if somebody has stress and financial or stress in their lives in general, whatever, just different reasons why a client can come to you for.
Sure. My sessions are usually an hour, and they don't have to be about the same topic. So in the case of the phobia people, if we finish that up in 20 minutes, then we've got 40 more minutes to, what else do you want to change in your life, basically, is what I ask. And so we go with that. In terms of the range of things that I help with people, it's 3 main categories. It's either the emotions that are really making life difficult for people. It can be trauma or phobias, or stress, or grief, or any of those emotions that are so intense that it's hard for a person to function the way they would like in their life. Or they come because they have conscious goals and they're not achieving them and they don't know why. They might be self-sabotaging. They might just feel huge resistance to doing parts of it. There might be fear involved with it. It could be all sorts of things, but they've got these goals. It might be in terms of their business success. It might be in terms of handling money on a personal level, their relationships, their self-esteem. there's all sorts of things that can be there, but bottom line is they want something to be different in their life, and it's not been working with everything else they've tried. And usually that's an indication the subconscious is working against them. Well, they come for physical symptoms of stress because the stress is caused by beliefs. And so if you can change the beliefs, the stress will go away. And if the stress goes away, the symptoms go away. So it's a wide range of people that I see and can help.
That's beautiful. And yes, it kind of covers all areas of life, we should say. There isn't, and again, this is one other benefit of PYSCH-K. It's like there's no major issues of life that PYSCH-K can't address, right? It's like almost all areas of your life, because it goes back to the truth that our reality is created by beliefs, by our subconscious beliefs. And if we can change our subconscious beliefs, then everything around our world is going to change. So you can also tell us a little bit about the application of PYSCH-K in your own life. I remember that from our previous conversation that you said.
Yeah. So, I mean, I use it daily. Literally, I have the advantage of being able to use this real time whenever I need it. So if I'm going about the day and all of a sudden something is making me feel a little stressed out, you know, I can stop and I can, you know, I can change that so that I'm not feeling stressed out. Sometimes I feel this resistance to something and I don't consciously know why. That's a good sign. It might be in my subconscious. That's, you know, and so I can, you know, do a balance or two and make it so that that it's easier to do whatever it was I was intending to do. Obviously physical symptoms, you know, if I start feeling like something's not quite right in my body, I'll try to figure out what the message is for me and then work with it that way. And, usually once you get all the messages your body's trying to tell you, then you can, you know, the symptoms will go away because you've already figured out what the body was trying to let you know. And my favorite, the thing that's it shouldn't be as hard as it is, but the limiting beliefs just in general, I'm really good at hearing them when other people say them. But noticing it with myself, it's like, you know, at this point, I've been doing this since 2011. You would think I would have no more limiting beliefs left. And yet I've never gotten to the bottom of my list yet. And I'll find things, it's like, wow, you know, I never even thought about that being limiting before. But then that's my opportunity to change it. So it's fun. But yeah, there's always an opportunity to use it yourself if you know how to do it. So yeah, I feel really privileged to do that.
Yes, and can you give us maybe an example of, I think we discussed about the anxiety that you had.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so when I learned PYSCH-K, I only learned it to use with myself and friends and family. But in 2014, I decided to turn it into a business. And in 2015, I moved from Virginia to Florida. And so the first year, it was just kind of a trial run because I knew I wasn't going to be staying in Virginia. But once I got here, I had to get serious about, you know, building a business. And I had always been very uncomfortable speaking in front of people. So I started with networking meetings, and like the 30-second introductions were like, you know, they would make me anxious, and, you know, so I would do balances to get through 30 seconds. And so so I was pretty comfortable with everything after about a year. And then I met somebody at a networking meeting who does web TV shows. And she said she would like me to be a guest. And of course my head is, well, of course you've got to say yes, because this is a good way to build your business. And inside my body's going, you know, but it was like, I said yes, because I knew I could go home and work with this. So I did, you know, I planned what I was going to talk about, and I did lots of balances for the anxiety, and everything was cool. Driving over there in the car, all of a sudden I felt this last piece of anxiety that just kind of popped up. So before I went into the building where we were taping, I did another balance to make sure that everything was all calm. And then I got in there, and there were 6 cameras set up focused on the two chairs. There were 6 feeds, 6 live feeds. One of them was something called bid chat, I think, where if somebody paid some amount of money, they could, I would have to stop mid-sentence and answer whatever question they asked. Nobody did that, and that was probably good. But, and I was calm. And I know if I hadn't done those balances, 6 cameras on me, I might not have been able to talk, really. I'm sure it wouldn't have been as fluid as it was. And I actually enjoyed the interview. It was fine. But yeah, that's how it can make a huge difference in somebody's life.
Right. And do you remember any of those positive beliefs? Maybe, clients who are watching this might not know what the positive belief can be. So in this case, maybe just a few examples of what kind of positive beliefs can make this change.
Well, I can talk in general about speaking in public. I was mainly going with the emotions with what I was doing, but a lot of times people don't feel like it's safe to be seen.
Right.
And that can, either emotionally safe or physically safe. It can come from lots of things, in their childhood or things that have happened after childhood that were just very traumatic for them. But so sometimes it's a safety thing. Sometimes it can be a fear of success. If I do this, then, that I could be more successful in my business, and maybe that's not a good thing for me. Maybe I don't deserve it. Maybe there's imposter syndrome going on where you're afraid somebody's going to discover you really don't know what you're talking about. There's so many things that can cause the anxiety and make it uncomfortable for people to do these things that they really know would be a better thing to be able to do. And the reasons are as individual as the people.
Right. And yes, it can be multitude of reasons why a person might kind of face that kind of anxiety or the fear of public speaking in general. So now I'm going to share my fun experience with you. So my dear viewers, so as part of this interview, I kind of did a session with Judy before, so I can kind of share my experience with you. And what happened was the session was so good that I booked another session with her, and we had enough time in between as well that I was personally doing something big in my life and I kind of wanted another help. So it ended up being 2 sessions with her before this interview. So to tell a little bit about me, I'm this kind of a person who's very curious about discovering different modalities and using it to manifest my desires, so to speak. And with PYSCH-K, I had done multiple sessions with multiple different PYSCH-K facilitators. But for me, you can ask a question, right? So when I did one session with Judy, why did I pick Judy again for doing the second session before the big event that kind of happened? And the reason behind that, one of those major difference that I personally experienced with Judy compared to other facilitators whom I had access to was her way of doing. I think it is also coming from her 9 years of experience, that what I found was the 1 hour session that I'm doing with her kind of give me 2 hours worth of benefit of doing that session, just because of her experience. And she is so quick and fast at doing the muscle testing. Muscle testing is the one that kind of helps us give the facilitator what subconscious beliefs that we have. So when somebody is so proficient at it, it makes our work so quick and easy. So that was the first major kind of positive side that I found in Judy. And the second one was the way she works is, so for me, I personally worked with her for first session, if I remember right, I kind of got a dispute in my PayPal account from one of my clients, and it kind of triggered me emotionally a lot. I was like, what's wrong? This has never happened before. How come a client is kind of opening dispute against me? And along with that, we worked on few other, the whole money and finance things. So when we got started with the session, she did release these emotions. So that is what, again, I found as major benefit working with Judy for me was, first, she worked on the emotions rather than just going straight into changing the beliefs. She was like, okay, what emotion are you feeling right now when you have this kind of dispute opened against you? And I was like, oh, there's a lot of frustration, there is a lot of sadness, and I'm like, I feel guilty, that as if I've done something wrong. So all of these emotions were coming up, and she did the balances for releasing these emotions. And what happens during the session is, first she makes us, okay, she tells us like, okay, can you feel that emotion now? And then she tests and sees whether it is strong and weak, or if it is weak, then she does the balance. And after the balance, she tells me, okay, can you feel those same emotion of frustration or guilty feeling? Can you feel it now? And when I would try to feel it, I couldn't even feel it. I was like, I was able to feel it 2 minutes back. Now what happened? Right after the balance, I can't even feel those, the feelings of frustration or guilt or shame or all of those pain that is associated with this whole event. And I was totally surprised. I was like, wow, that quick 2 minute thing called the balance is like releasing the emotions. And once the emotions are released, then it gets so much easier for us to change those beliefs. So that was my first session experience. And I also, one other topic. So after this particular session about this whole dispute matter, that night I got this message from that particular client who opened the dispute. Until then, she was not responding to any of my messages. I was trying to fix this issue. And that night she messaged me stating, Vishnu, I'm really sorry. It was not towards your transaction. It was towards some other vendor that I wanted to open the dispute. And by mistake, it opened yours. I was like, wow. I was experiencing all of these emotions for 3-4 days, and finally she says it was not even meant for me. But anyways, it was a beautiful healing that I received, and I know there's always a reason behind. Even if it is a mistake, it also happened because in my past I have had different businesses that I did maybe 5 years back, which kind of had a lot of disputes, and I had stored all of those trauma inside me, which I think the universe was trying to show me through this mistake. Anyways, that was a beautiful experience. And then for the second session, again, as I said, I was launching a new program for my clients, and I was feeling again this anxiety and the stress about, oh, what's going to happen in the launch? Will I have enough of clients joining me and all of that? So I think, again, that was also very related to this topic of, talking about stress and anxiety. And I did that session with her. And the next day was my launch, where I'm doing this kind of presentation on live for so many people on not on stage, but it was online. But anyways, I was like super cool during the process, and I was like, oh, I'm totally in that surrender mode, just the flow mode. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna be worried about the results. I'm just gonna give my best. Before the session, I was like so much in stress. I was like, oh, what is gonna happen tomorrow? But after the session, I was like, I'm ready to go. So that was my second experience as well. And after the launch, I got exactly kind of the number of clients that I can fit into the program, and it all went so smooth, and I was so happy throughout the whole process. So thank you, Judy, and I'm so happy that I could share all of this in my live show as well.
Oh, that's great. I hadn't heard the update to the second one, so that's terrific. Wow.
Yes, I saved it for the last as a gift for you, and for the amazing talent and ability that you have kind of developed with PYSCH-K. I really love the way you do it.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you, my dear. So, my dear viewers, that's about our presentation here. And if you are interested in booking a session with Judy, her link is right below. You can click on the link, and she actually offers a 15-minute free consultation call. So you can discuss with her for free, let her know what kind of issues you're facing in your life, and then see if this is going to be a good match for you to work with, and then move forward with booking your session with her as well. Along with that, we also have a 10% off discount coupon code for you just for watching this video today. And the coupon code is 0 Point. You can just let her know that you found her through 0 Point, and she's going to give you that 10% discount as well. All right, my dear Judy, anything else that you would like to add before we end?
Just that if you would need to talk with me or email me to figure out how to get the 0 Point in there after the fact of booking, it's a little bit harder to do the discount. And I also have 2 free downloads on my website. So if people go there, they can download those and see some more examples of how subconscious self-limiting beliefs can get in your way.
Sure. So when you click on the link below, it is going to take you to Judy's 0 Point Healing profile page, from where you can click on her website link and see what it is. So she has 2 free downloads for you as well. So that's amazing bonus. So please make sure you're using that as well. Thank you, Judy. It has been an amazing session. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's so good to see you again.
Thank you, my dear viewers. I'm going to see you in my next show. Please do share and subscribe to this video if you're watching this on YouTube, and share it to people, your friends and family, anybody, if anybody especially going through any anxiety, stress in their life, whether it is financial or physical or relationship. As you know, Judy can help them as well. So please do share with anybody you know who can benefit out of these sessions. Thank you so much. I'm going to see you in my next show. Bye-bye for now. Bye, Judy.